It's almost St. Patrick's Day, and we're talking about luck and superstition. Superstition.
Superstition, huh? But can we create our own luck? Coming up in LO.
I don't just talk stuff and repeat stuff. I'm living this stuff.
And you can thank me for covering your astro.
Leading out loud. Leading out loud. We're leading out loud.
Hello and welcome to Leading Out Loud, LOL, where we make a shift show out of the shift shows and say it straight. I am Sensei Christopher Oteki, the sensei to SeriousJoy.com.
And I'm Scott Cruz, psychic medium with ScottCruzPM.com. See, I'm going to flaunt my website.
There you go. You flaunt all you want. And we're talking about luck today. The Irish especially known for their superstition and their luck, for instance.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of superstitious going on. And, can we... I think the question a lot from people is does superstition create luck, and can we create our own luck through that? So that's something we'll get into.
And also, we're curious about the audience's opinion. We are thinking about making this show far more raunchy, and so we think we need to go live later in the day. So we are contemplating a Thursday night showing, which will be live streaming, so you can sort of settle down. We're thinking about 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Let us know in the comments what you think, if you would show up for that, because we think this show needs to be a little more nighttime and less daytime. But before we dive into this, we do have a word from our first sponsor, the lovely SeriousJoy.com.
It's in the stars to seriously change your life with a subscription to Serious Joy. Sign up now for your personalized step astrology and daily pep talks. Highly predictive astrology sent via text and email. Daily Zodiac weather reports, advanced lectures, classes, edutainment series, and more. Sign up today for only $3.99 to seriously change your life. Only on SeriousJoy.com.
And we are serious about that. Well, we're talking about what's going on in the collective read, first of all. We're going to see.
Signing up, by the way. I was signing up $3.99, and I was signing up while $3.99. I mean, can't beat that.
You cannot beat that, actually. Actually, you can't beat it. I mean, you really can't. And actually, Serious Joy is going to get you through what we're about to go through and what we're about to talk about. We're here to guide people. By the way, the text messages are amazingly accurate. People freak out. That's the best feature of it. But anyways, thank you, Scott, for that extra promo. Let's talk about the Zodiac weather. The interesting thing about this last week is it's been bumpy for me. What have you been picking up, sir, in that third eye view?
Bumpy for me too, but bumpy for a lot of other people. But what I've been noticing too is, and this is not a bad thing either, more about self-reflection, right? And so there's been a lot of questioning oneself, I feel like. So am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right career profession? Even if you know that you are, there's been a lot of that kind of second guessing, self-reflecting. And I think for me, and I feel and I know that this time really is psychically, the essence of really knowing and owning it, right? Because we have to look at stuff, we question something, we're like, I'm questioning it, but no, I am the shit, or no, I am going to be doing that thing, or no, I'm in the right direction. I've been banging it out. So it's almost like a spiritual check-in and a psychic check-in to say, are you doing it? So that's what I feel. So if there's a lot of that second questioning oneself or doubts and so forth, it's kind of normal when we're ready for an upgrade. That's what I feel.
Well said. Are you an astrologer or something? Because that's exactly what's going on in the planets. Actually, we're in chapter 3 of the sun in Pisces right now, and the third chapter is always your destiny. And what the planets are showing is that we're actually making a destiny change. Now, for some of us who are, I think, more aware, it's that our destiny is finally moving. Okay, so I've been waiting for this moment my entire life, for instance. But a lot of people had the karma of figuring it out. I learned how to figure it out another lifetime. So I had it figured out when I showed up. It depends on the person. But what we are doing is switching lanes. And astrologically, this week is the lane switch. You've already had time to face your issues with yourself for the last 2 years, basically. Neptune's been whispering in your ear that you had a problem with that since 2012. So this is the last. If you don't get it now, you're probably not going to get it, says everyone up above in the company of heaven. And so we're going to move on. Now, this week in particular is the bumpiness. Yesterday, by the way, we had the Sun conjunct Saturn at step 22 Pisces. That was, frankly, the dimensional shift yesterday. Yesterday was the dimensional shift. Now, I felt that shift all day. I was all shifty and I was grouchy and
You're tired. Shifty. You totally were shifty. I'll tell you that.
Holy shift. I mean, I went to bed early for me, which is like 10. Like that's
you.
I know.
Go to bed.
The new dimension, baby. What I tell you.
Wow.
I'm in the new story now. What it means is that we were to feel where we belong or don't belong yesterday. Yesterday you would have been like, I don't belong with this anymore. You just can't do it. So the feel, and Saturn conjuncting that moment means, and so it fucking is. Okay, that's what Saturn does, is lay down the line. And then from this point, we just keep changing. Tonight, a lunar eclipse at step 23, a very big deal. All right. Yeah. First of all, the first eclipse of the season. A lot of shit's been happening lately, actually. Like you might have had cars breaking down, things breaking down as soon as like 3 days ago, and it'll play out through Sunday. Those are usually little what's the word? Plot twisters. Like sometimes the universe, if you're not on the right path, your air conditioner will break. Something will break down. It's crazy, but it's true. Which makes you just stop for a minute and reflect, or makes you realize you don't make enough money because you can't afford this. Like you come to realization from the breakdown. And so this eclipse is actually the split. Yesterday was I don't belong here anymore. This eclipse is step 23, which is basically a vision or an idea that's going to happen. And that means we're going to be torn apart from a vision of where reality was going. So maybe you had plans that you were going to be the next da-da-da-da. Or maybe you were, plan to retire in Cuba. Or plan to, here's some sort of plans for the future, dead on arrival. All right. Mm-hmm. Also, I find in my life, killing things off that don't matter anymore. I'm just like, why am I putting my time into this? Why am I doing this? It's not paying off. Why am I doing this? And so kind of waking up out of the shake. And I think what we're withdrawing from what we're no longer into is very much like plots that were getting us to understand our karma. They weren't really our fate. They were just sort of tools that we were using to get there. And then over the weekend, what's that?
And reminders too. Like a lot of it's just been reminders, like nudges, like hello,
Like a bitch slaps, like well wake up, or male slaps, always bitch. But also, so here's what happens. It's like we have the eclipse tonight. Then Saturday, Mercury goes retrograde. So whenever Mercury goes retrograde, it means it's time to rethink something because something big has happened. I've noticed that every time there's a retrograde, right before this, like, and scene. It's like, fuck, I didn't think about this for 3 weeks. And so we think what we're going to think about for the next 3 weeks is basically who we are to ourselves on the inside. You were prepping yourself to go down this wrong road, or you were prepping yourself to go down the right road. At the end of the day, it's all you inside you. Pushing yourself or not pushing yourself. Those are the early degrees of Aries. Then Mercury goes all the way to step 26, Pisces. 26 is the devotion. So we end up in 3 weeks redevoting ourselves to a new destiny once we've thought about our self-motivation. So we have to work out our self-motivation and then sort of recalculate our destiny. Then when Mercury goes direct, it's on, baby. Okay. We move forward. Now we still have Venus retrograde, which means we're having to get in the hot water and sort of understand this. And over the weekend, the Sun will conjunct the North Node. And then next week, the Sun conjuncts Neptune at 29 Pisces. And by the way, Neptune at 29 Pisces is like, I don't know how to describe it. It is the miracle drug of consciousness. I mean, it's where miracles unfold, fate unfolds. It's probably when, for instance, it was the beginning of the Civil War last time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was the last time Neptune was at 29. It was on the eve of the Civil War. Wow. And really at that time we had a morality crisis, right? Neptune and Pisces are morality. And so it was also a fate of power crisis. Lincoln became obviously a big figure there at Aquarius. This time, I don't know. Do you see a morality crisis now?
Well, I think there's always been a morality crisis. And I think that the problem is that no one's really able to distinguish real morale. I think there's so much debate. Like some people say, oh, morale is that you have to have a family and marry same sex. And other people like morale is being free and free spirited. So I think people are in constant debate what morale really is.
Not morale, moral. Did I say morale crisis? I might have. Moral crisis as in, oh my God, we're using human beings as slaves.
Well, wait. I mean, it's kind of isn't that the same thing? Like morale is the same thing, isn't it?
Well, morale is sort of like how your overall vibe.
I'm talking about morals. I think So I'm talking moral as far as morals. Yeah, I think people are definitely in conflict of what morals really mean, and everyone has a different representation. I think that's the fight that we're having. Some people, this is what morality is. And people are like, no, this is what's moral. And so I think people are just having a hard time distinguishing what the fundamental aspect of what morals really are. I think that's why we're so divided.
I agree. Actually, I think I'm on with you. I think. The truth is, we're fighting about Trump, and we're fighting about this person, we're fighting about that person, but we're not talking about what are our morals. Because I think the United States has the same morals. Honestly, I think people want all their kids to go to school without being shot. I think we all believe that we shouldn't hurt another person. I think we all have the same morals, and we're not talking about it. part of that is the breakdown of the church, which
Right.
was a good thing. Was a good thing. They shouldn't have had, the copyright on morals either, or the trademark on Christ. However, we have stopped talking about, well, what do we think are the moral values of our nation? Because honestly, when I look at the Republicans and the Democrats, they want the same things. I see them wanting the same morals. They have the same morals.
Yeah.
They
It's
argue about
different.
how to go about it. That's what they argue about.
Right. It's kind of like a fight. Who's empathetic the right way? You know what I'm saying? Because even sometimes divisive of abortion, right? Some's like, oh, like it's pro-life is moral and anti-abortion is moral for the mother and the life of the child. So it's two different sides of empathy, just fighting on which is a more empathetic, more moral way. And so I think that's the issue we're having now. But I think it's great discussions. I think for me, that's part of the evolution of our species to really talk about these things. And at least we're arguing about who's the most empathetic or which empathy is right than actually having no empathy at all. So I do see a good, I would say, evolution of empathy within majority of people. So I think we're in the right direction. It's so fragmented right now. People think, again, like you said before, Christopher, like political stuff. They think politics is morality. It's like, there could be morals that are blended in with that, but politics in itself isn't really a moral functioning as it should be, And so I think people gotten lost in that,
I think actually abortion is the one moral question we have right now. Like that is a moral question because the question is, and again, this is Neptune 29 talk. The question is, what's more holy? Protecting a woman's right to her own body or protecting an unborn baby? We're both actually both sides are trying to protect life, honestly.
Right.
And both sides are trying to protect freedom. So we should give ourselves credit for that. Both sides are on the side of freedom and non-murder, whatever you want to call it, like freedom of the soul and freedom of free will kind of thing. Yeah. It's interesting to know. Like I'll tell you now, one of the things that we're going off on a tangent here, but it's a good one. Yeah. One of the things that I think is what needs to happen is we need to come out with what's really happening in spirit. Okay. Everyone is guessing about what happens after you die. Everyone's guessing if you're alive or not alive. Everyone's guessing about, there is no common thread. And that's because science refuses to do any work to prove that the other side works because that would disprove everything they've done. So they're not going to throw themselves under the bus. There's a moral dilemma right there, science. But, for instance, it's my understanding. When I say my understanding, I'm talking about I've talked to mediums. I've talked to, people who do ascended masters. I mean, I've interviewed the spirit world. From what I hear, the baby's soul does not inhabit the body until about 20 to 30 minutes prior to birth.
Right. You know what? But also, I discovered too, because every variable is different, right? Because soul consciousness wants to experience different aspects. I found cases, Christopher, where a soul conscious wanted to incarnate just to experience the fetal experience and was ready to hop out.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I just want to leave that fetal experience and then reflect on that. So I've seen that too.
Not just that, but the mother, the mother has karma. So like a baby will be like, look, I'll come down, you can abort me. And you'll go through the lesson. I'll just be in and out, like a duck mating, and we'll be done.
Contract, yeah.
And it's funny because that woman has issues with, she couldn't bring. You look at her chart. She couldn't bring a baby to bear, like on, when she was out in the prairie. She's been feeling guilty about that forever. She's got all this guilt complex around not bringing a baby to term. So of course, you have a mother who doesn't bring a baby to term. Next life, the conflict of an abortion. Bomb. It brings up the episode. It brings up the issue. Has nothing to do with the rights of a child or whatever. It has to do with that mother needs to relive that experience on the prairie for just a moment in a harmless way so that she can finally conquer this feeling of guilt that she puts on herself. That's really what it's about a lot of times, right?
Absolutely. So, but soul consciousness that one incarnate just experience the fetal position and leave and exit the physical domain will align with the woman with that type of karma. So it's a match.
100%. Yes. And if you get a psychic reading, by the way, like, women who have abortions who get psychic readings, let's say they have 2 kids. The psychic's like, so you have 3 kids? And they're like, no, I have 2. Yeah, all the time because that child is still on contract, hanging out in heaven. Yes. And was still, and as part of the whole team, even though it was meant to abort and come up to heaven, that was the whole plan the entire time. And psychics are seeing 3. They can't tell one didn't incarnate. Yeah.
I say that all the time, except when I started getting that in my rookie years, I was like, okay, I need to distinguish the ones in physical. So I always see like the 2 in physical and there's like 1 in spirit. And I'm like, okay, is that a miscarriage or early termination or one that's about to reincarnate? Because a lot of times I'll see spirit waiting there. But yeah, I definitely, the child of the soul contract that's connected, it always comes up and reads. Always.
Always. We have a person here, the Green Knight Errant. He says, I believe the soul enters through the body during the prenatal eclipses. That's very interesting. Although there's 2, so is it half in each time? Just saying. I do believe that the baby does touch down and reconnect several times during pregnancy. But astrology tradition is the body and the soul are not united till the baby's first breath, which is when the inside becomes the outside and the outside becomes the inside. That's the soul contract. That's why we read that moment for the astrological chart. Until that moment, the baby's not tied. That's what we understand. But who knows? I mean, these are things we have to figure out, right? We're not going into it until we start to look into the other side of spirituality and look at, hey, what really happens. We'll have a consensus. I'm going to go off on a weird tangent here just for a second, and we'll bring this up maybe in another show. But I was thinking over the weekend, I had a huge epiphany because as I'm dropping my baggage, I'm waking up to other things that I'm used to be interested in. According to Palladians and Wendy Kennedy, who is a Palladian channel, amazing. She's going to be at Unite the Light. Oh my gosh, I said that. I don't know. But anyways, let that out, slipped out of the bag. But nonetheless, she says the Palladians say, okay, that, and I actually talked to the Palladians about this too. I framed it in a conversation with them through her, that basically the United States government has been given a 6-month deadline to announce that they exist, or they're going to just show up. Okay. And that's apparently a board of light, the Galactic Council of Light. I'm not sure what that name is. They've all decided hey, we gave Earth enough free will stuff. They're out of time now. And so apparently it's the governments, particularly our government, that's stalling. But this is why I'm bringing it up. I realized once aliens land on the Earth, okay, humans are no longer the authority of knowledge. We're done. They have the aliens will be like, you got it wrong, kids. You do incarnate. No, sorry, little boys, little girls, you got it wrong. This is how it happens. This happens. I realized maybe the big push to keeping aliens off the planet is it's going to debunk all of our bullshit because they're obviously in authority because they flew from some star and landed here. You know what I mean? Right? So I felt authority of knowledge is what we're afraid of.
Yeah, my perspective is a little different. I mean, I think and I know believe this too. I think the aliens and extraterrestrials really learn from our density. They learn from our stupidity.
Oh, sure.
I mean, and I think a lot of us who are incarnated here are highly evolved soul consciousness too. So I feel like for me, the expression and the visitation, or at least a connection with ETs and extraterrestrial life force, means that we've evolved, that we can perceive them now.
Yeah,
I think that we were in the level of frequency where we could perceive. Now we've expanded so much, our spiritual consciousness that we can perceive them and make a connection. So to me, I always feel like that's always the indication of our evolution.
I'm not debating evolution. I'm saying in the world of science, okay, science. Just go to science. Just go to science.
Okay.
What's that guy's name? The African American. There's Bill Nye. He's a big voice, and there's one other who's always
Neil Tyson Grease. I've interviewed him before.
Neil Tyson. Yeah. He's very science. We don't see it. We don't know it. But I was like, shut the fuck up. Once the thing lands and goes to Neil, let me school you, Neil, on how it really works energetically. I'm just saying the scientific community has got a lot to say for when they inevitably have more authentic science evolution than we do, obviously understand the universe more than we do. We're going to be schooled to that point. We're no longer an authority of our own knowledge.
Of course, yeah. In the physical sense, I totally agree. That'll help us to uncover, because we've been hungry for that anyways, to uncover all the physical shit, the lies, the bullshit, the hidden truths. So yeah, that'll definitely be part of our awakening. I think the representation of that. But yeah, I agree with you on that. I predicted many years ago that there'd be evidence of alien activity between 2020 and 2023, and it happened in I think the last year or the year before. And then I said between 2025 to 2030, there's going to be actual connection, visitation connection, and so I feel like we're in that timeline of that actually happening, of them making contact, literal connection. So we got about 5 years of a block of this. So I totally agree with that. And I love that she said that there's a contract. You either acknowledge us or we're showing up anyways, and that's always what I felt too psychically. They're whether they acknowledge it or not through the government, or if not, they're coming anyways. And so
they're coming. Apparently, they're coming anyways. I mean, and I talked to them about it
right now.
The Palladians to talk about it, and I don't remember the details. Well, actually, we'll have to have that as a topic. It'll be fascinating. But the mind blow for me was at that point when the American Lung Association says don't smoke, it'll kill you, and the aliens actually it's the chemicals you put in it that kills them. At that point, everything can be usurped by wiser, higher. If they release their press release, we disagree, humans, you're being silly. It's this. You know what I mean? We're sort of outed. That's why they don't want to come. It's we're afraid of humans can't handle the truth. No, you can't handle the truth coming out. I think is really what the issue is, because it's going to blow all the lies out of the water when there's some, humans will at least listen. If the Palladians go, nope, actually it's this. Well, humans are not stupid. They'll be well, they just flew a billion miles to get here. Maybe the American Cancer Association isn't so smart. right? As this race that flew here from another galaxy, another dimension. Anyways, this kind of talk is the new era. I think this is the new era. I think we're in a new era
Right.
as of tonight with the eclipse. This eclipse was going to be the first huge breakdown of reality. And so I do think that some people will slip. They're going to kind of slip into cray-cray, who can't handle the shift. Some people are going to take off. There's a lot of death coming. I'll just say that right now. Not because of anything that anyone didn't plan. You know, they basically, you know, this is another discussion, but like, I know that if your higher self in heaven, which is sort of broadcasting the signal down into this lower density, if your higher self sees that you're going off track, according to what you planned, they yank the cord and you get killed. Car accident, something happens, they just abort. They're like, abort. It's not going where I wanted. My lower self is off on a sex thing again, or off on an alcohol thing again. Pull the cord. And so you get pulled. You get pulled by your own higher self out of the system. I had someone come, I had a reading come to me over the weekend. Really weird. I ended up reading this person. Find out it's his dead father who has like arranged for him to see me. Because otherwise, like getting a reading with me is like not easy right now. I'm so busy. Long story short, his higher self is like, look, I'm about to pull the cord. You are way off track. And the kid's eyes are kind of blinking. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, and you know it. He goes, I've been sensing something. I'm like, yeah, that's your higher self going, you're way off course. You got to get off the path or you're going to be gone. So, you know, at the end of the day, we all have these missions, and a lot of this mission is about to happen now. We had this other chapter to do, and that's what we're transitioning into. So when we go into Aries next week, is it next week? I think so. We dive in on Thursday, the 20th. That's the beginning of the new, what I call we go instead of ego. We start the we go, which is basically an ego based on survival and someone else. So we'll talk about that later. Well, we got to talk about luck today, brother.
You ready for it?
How's that for a
Let's get
segue?
into it. Yeah, because we went
I
through
feel
some
lucky.
too.
I think I was thinking of Clint Eastwood. I think of like, do you feel lucky? Like that one line where he's like, he's got the gun out, like the long fucking gun.
Yeah.
I was like, you feeling lucky? You know, he's
Yeah,
going.
no, I am.
But before we talk about luck, we've got one more commercial to show for you, one of three. This is Unite the Light. If you find yourself at the Unite the Light conference, I would say you are lucky because we've got so much planned for this event. It's going to be May 17th to the 19th. Do we have something to roll here? I think so, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
Go. I believe we need to come together once a year. Thank you for believing in yourself. Thank you for believing in us. Where do you need help? What resources do you need?
You are much closer to making your dent in social media than you think.
You're that leader.
Tickets on sale now at unitethelight.love. That's unitethelight.love. So I've been saying it. And we got a lot of cool stuff there. We'll talk about more of that in the future. But get your tickets. And by the way, the hotel that it's at is very expensive. We're not staying there, just so you know. We just want the place. So don't feel intimidated by that. We'll be in hotels around the place. We'll be helping you find other hotels and stuff. But it's a great place to have the event. It's a beautiful place. I found out that how much the rooms were. I nearly gasped. I did not know.
Yeah.
But so I'm just saying that right now. Y'all, I did not know it was that expensive. I was lied to, I swear. Was lied to, actually, but another story. Now, that said, let's talk about love.
You didn't read that? You weren't psychic about it? You didn't feel it?
No. Here's the thing about that. It's like, you feel something's off, but when you're really busy, you don't have time.
True.
We have to sit down and meditate. Like, what's off about this? What's off? If you can't have the time to meditate, then no, just pop. The answer doesn't pop in. And someone's screwing you over.
The brain can't harbor everything at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can feel something's off. And I'll tell you, you warned me, so enough of that. Now, that said, let's talk about luck. Let's think about people who have been lucky. I was talking about before the show, who've been lucky. And I don't mean to be dark, but I think Bill Cosby is pretty lucky because he went years as like a huge star and nothing came out about that. Like, what? Was that payoff or was that luck? I think O.J. Simpson was lucky for that verdict that he got.
That's what I said. Yeah, that's
lucky,
was
like,
one of mine
whoa.
too. I think Trump was lucky because he got whisked to the ear, not shot in the head. Right. So
Honestly, come on, man. I'm not a shooter. I'm not a gunman like at all. But like to me, that's effing lucky.
Yeah. There's this Croatian guy named, his name is Frane Salik. He was in multiple car accidents. He was in a train crash. He got ejected from a crashing plane, landed in a haystack, literally, and then won the lottery.
Ah,
after all that.
my
So
God, I would say the lottery was the haystack.
yeah, if you want to, well, yeah, that's the main lottery. Then you won actual won a lottery after that. So it's like that to me is like that's luck because there's nothing that you're doing to really, anticipate anything. Those are kind of just the events that have happened that way. And so like we could think about OJ. It's like, yeah, he's got lucky, but like how many people did he pay off and how many people owed him? You know what I mean? So and what's the corruption of all that? So is it really luck? So I think that's the question today. Like what is luck and what is created and what is manifestation? And so yeah. But
there are some characters that are always lucky, like Teddy Roosevelt, for instance. Our producer was talking before the show about how he got shot, finished the speech, and then went down. He later also got like caught in the Amazon and lived too. His son got him out there barely alive, so he seemed like quote quote lucky. Harrison Ford was a carpenter working on, I don't know what he's working on, but then he got like a shot. He was discovered by Lucas, got a role in American Graffiti, which led to his role in Star Wars. And actually that scar in his chin, he got that fucking around on American Graffiti, climbing a telephone pole and being stupid because he was a huge alcoholic at the time. So, is that luck? I don't know. Like, what is luck anyways? And how do we get luck in the world? For instance, the Irish are said to have luck and superstition. Is that true? I don't know. I think they're under the pin of Europe still. I think they're still being kind of shit on in that continent. Is that lucky? I know they're still facing alcoholism. Is that lucky?
But isn't also something called bad luck? We also say there's bad luck, right? Things back. So I think we think luck is always positive. Actually, some people say have bad luck. They're always running into constant trends of bad things happening. So do you want to get into our own personal definitions of what we think luck is?
Well, let's throw out some more luck things first, just to open the scope. Like the number 13, is it lucky or unlucky?
Oh yeah 13, 11, 11, right? The 111s.
That's lucky. 13 is supposed to not be lucky, although 13 is in step consciousness. I know what it is. And that's to a 4, which is Aquarius, and what 13 really is the truth. So it's the truth, which could be lucky or unlucky depending on the person. Mm-hmm. What about leprechauns? These little pipe smoking midgets.
I mean, same thing. It reminds me of like chupacabras and the Mexican culture. They have the chupacabras that go around, and like to see one's like an omen, too. It's like, what else do we have? I mean, because a lot of
leprechauns are, from what I hear, leprechauns are real, and they're part of. They take care of Earth, the Earth custodians. From what I understand, I don't know.
Okay,
part of the fairy realm. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
That's why I mentioned chupacabras. Like I don't know much. It's like similar, like little things that go around, and that people see as like an omen if you see them.
Yes. If they don't eat your children or something, right? That's not lucky.
Right.
And if leprechauns smoke pipes, then maybe what do they call it? It's not the nicotine that's giving you cancer, right? Like somehow they've survived cancer if they're still alive thousands of years later. What about lucky crystals and lucky pennies and lucky things like that?
Right. I mean, we have a lot of those lucky crystals and people hold in their pockets. I know people carry like a specific stone in their pocket or they put things in their wallet, even like rituals, Chris, for people like believe in like the whole thing. I put cinnamon in my wallet that attracts money, or hang this by the doorway, feng shui, right? That could be superstition too, right? And so that can bring in luck. So there's a shitload that we do. Prayer.
That we attune to luck. And that's interesting. I'll talk about it in a minute. I mean, I think the word luck is sort of a scientific thing, because science would say, what are the odds, right? Like, the odds are 1 million to 5 that this would happen. It's like, well, that's luck. Like, so science is like, if it's small odds, then we'll call it luck, right?
Right.
But what's your third eye view on this? Like, what does your third eye say luck is?
Well, my third eye has always said, I always feel like, luck is something that's still a pattern to me. Like it's still wrapped up in our karma. Right. And so for example, say this guy, Frank Salik, right? Perhaps he helped a lot of people in his previous incarnations and this incarnation, and he kept people like, connected to life and connected to, really good, positive, resource for people and helping people to survive. And that had been his ongoing positive karma. So when he runs into death, he cheats it all the time. He has secure. So I think that you can create your luck based on the karma that you're putting out, the good karma that you're putting out, or the bad karma too. So I really believe that what we actually put out in that sense, we hear it all about the times when it comes to the manifestation communities, that what you put out is what you get back. And there's a lot of truth to that. But that goes in the span of our whole, incarnational experiences. And I think you can create your own luck. And I think it's good to do little deeds personally, spiritually. I like to do like good deeds. Sometimes it is giving the homeless person, you should give money to. Sometimes just being kind to give something out or doing something nice for someone, because I understand that creates good luck for you, for other people to do for that for yourself too, and come from the heart with that. So to me, that's what luck really is. It's just an accumulation of karma points.
Interesting you say that.
Bad or good,
Astrology says, so there's some big judge that's rewarding you for giving the homeless money. Some like cosmic judge that's like, you will have luck now, good boy.
Right.
There's something like that. I don't know. Astrology says Jupiter's lucky. Now, my third eye says that's not true. What Jupiter is, I mean, they say like it's lucky in your chart. So when they mean by that is like when the moon crosses it, something cool happens. When you have a Jupiter return, something cool happens. When Jupiter's on your sun, something cool happens. It's like, oh my God, every time Jupiter shows up, there's a party, which is very Sagittarius if you think about it. But what I see in my third eye and psychic side is Jupiter is a place in a past life where you were going like a mile a minute and someone else interrupted your fate. Mm-hmm. So you had this karmic path and something outside of you kills it, right? Mm-hmm. And so what Jupiter is the reinstallment of that story incomplete automatically for free so that you can continue the line. So it's not that you're lucky, it's that you were rudely interrupted in the past life, this will be recontinued in this life, and everything will be paid for and financed by God to get you back where you were. That's Jupiter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's not luck. That's leftovers.
But that's leftovers. That's why I feel like luck really is just an explanation of something that's unexplained, right? Some people that can't explain it, it's like call it luck. But to me, everything's still very explainable when it comes like why people get lucky or why people have the bad short strike of luck. And people come to me like, I just have bad luck. I'm like, there's patterns here that you create that's creating that bad luck for you. So there's always a reason. There's always a source of it, So to me, luck isn't something that's so mystical and far-fetched. It's actually a result that if we look deeper in our third eye and we look deeper on our patterns, we can find out why we're generating the good or bad luck for sure. But I think it's good to be intentional about it. Someone mentioned in the chat about like gratitude lists. That's great if it's coming from the heart, but don't do it because you want to get something. But putting that repetition out there is definitely going to come back and open your perspective to things and will generate more luck. Good luck for you. So, but it's still explainable, Christopher. There's still a scientific reason why it's occurring.
Well, no, not science, not officially science, like
scientific,
metaphysical,
metaphysical science. Yeah, because I still think metaphysics is still a technology.
I think the idea that luck is like random is science still trying to prove that life is random. Like randomly, we randomly move from an amoeba to a human being randomly over 1 million years. It's like, okay, like. You do something like that, Neil deGrasse. I want to see you evolve with just 2 of your skin cells right now. Put it in a petri dish. Let's do it. It's just not. We don't have time of 1 million years. Like nice little alibi there, 1 million years excuse. But the point is like I don't believe in luck. I believe in spiritual talent. I think luck is spiritual talent. I feel that we are pre-born with all sorts of abilities. Like who knows where. I think probably this is this first lifetime either of us are on camera, right? Because there wasn't cameras in past lives. Now we're getting really talented at being on camera. I bet you we're damn huge hologram stars in the future because we had that camera talent that we developed a whole lifetime. Now we're going to be hologram geniuses, right? In the next lifetime. Well, they're lucky at the hologram. Not luck. I spent a whole lifetime, kicking the pavement with, on the internet to learn how to be on camera. So to me, luck is spiritual talent. You already have the talent. And so you remember that talent. And so when things play out, you do it. The other thing about luck is, luck is assuming that we have no interaction with the universe. It's just happening to us. So, you're lucky that the universe randomly created an event for you. I disagree. I think it denies the fact, the word luck denies the fact that we create our reality, that we are connected to our reality, that is all us. Right. There's no outside force. And from what I understand from heaven, it's never luck. You always did it. Always. Yeah.
Well, I had a lot of people in my life growing up saying like, oh, you're so very lucky. I'm just like, no, bitch, I'm psychic. I'm intuitive. I know where to go. I know where to seek out what I need to, what's seeking me. So I can feel that current. So a lot of times people just, say, oh, you're lucky or you get lucky. I'm like, no, I'm just intuitive. I know when to hit that slot machine. It's calling my name. I put money in, boom, I hit. It's not luck. I felt it. I'm intuitive. So I think the more intuitive you become, the more you'll feel the experience of being lucky because you're just reading the right energy, the right vibration, and you're able to match your energy a lot easier and a lot better to things that match. And even with probabilities, Christopher, and like lottery winnings and so forth like that, of course, someone's got to win, but the person I think karmically that aligns it to the most will win. and that
agree.
has to do with karma, and that's a result. That's a spiritual technology. And so there are people that just need to experience that. So, they'll win that lottery. There's people that will never, no matter how much they affirm it, because it's not in their karma. They think of bad luck. It's like, it's not your karma. It's not part of
Right.
your scope of your
That's your plan.
theme in this incarnation. Yeah. And so
Right.
I think when we're in tune to that, we call it the divine purpose. When we're in tune to that, then we feel like we're always lucky. We have the experience of always being lucky. We can say that, but like, nope, I'm aligned. You'll say, not I'm lucky. I'm aligned. I'm in tune. That's what luck is for me.
I agree. Some of those points. I mean, I don't believe I'm lucky. I believe I'm spiritually talented. Like I have been working on this fucking earth for many lifetimes, trying to get it right, hitting the walls, trying again, staying at it. So if you want to use luck, I'm always lucky, always. But I look at spirituality. I'm damn effective manifester. I can manifest, 9 out of 10 as far as what I can manifest. And I'm still challenged. I'm still trying to manifest the big things. I haven't learned it all. But I feel like at most of the time, here's the thing. Most people are unaware of how the universe works. So most of the time when you're in a room, if you're the only wizard, it's going to go your way, right? Because you're the only one that knows how the universe works. So if you're the only one that knows, as long as people stay in this like scientific myth that we're random, great. Right. My luck is bigger and more powerful because I'm not competing in the conscious universe for my thing to happen. There's no competition because I'm the only one there intending it like a wizard perspective, right? So I don't know. Yeah. I think as people wake up, there'll be less opportunity.
Yeah, and I like you're saying about time because, like, to me, like, if you really think about luck, is the right place at the right time. How do you get to the right place at the right time? By being in tune.
Agreed.
And doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so, if we're focused on that, like you said, you'll understand it's not luck. This is results of my own intuitions, results of my own actions, results of my own passion. And so that's the power for me. Because at the end of the day, it's like, oh, I got this because I got lucky, or I got this because I was matched and tuned to it. There's more power behind that. Understanding it's conscious. You're conscious about why things are happening, not some random mechanism luck. You
have to realize that you're one with everything. And so, like they said in the Matrix, you are the spoon. That was legitimate. That was legit. Like he is the spoon. That's the thing. He's wiggling his butt. That's to make the spoon move. You gotta like wiggle your butt. Like it's inside of you that you do it. Like it's inside of you that you do everything. Because reality is the inside of you, outside of you.
But I'll test that because I have seen you bend over backwards like a spoon. So you definitely are the spoon.
Yeah, you are the spoon. Okay, I've only done that path. Hold on, that was unlucky. That was unlucky.
You know what to say.
Yeah, I'm speechless. That's odd. No, but I feel like even in a chart, it's like it's not that you're lucky at anything; it's that you're already well informed and aware of how to do that.
Aligned.
So I think athletes, for instance, 9 out of 10 athletes that I read, and I read them, you'd be surprised how mystical they are. They're very superstitious. They're like wearing their like lucky penny, their girlfriend's thing in their pants. They like all this shit on them to like win the game. They do. And they're very mystical. So if like an NFL player finds out I'm an astrologer, he's on me like flies on shit. Like he wants to know what's the deal. 9 out of 10 times, these football players, gladiators, warriors, basically past life after past life where physical brutality was the whole thing. That's why they want to do it again. They're good at physical brutality. And the best way to be physically brutal is football. So it just becomes that sport is actually the reincarnation of a bunch of gladiators and warriors. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
People enjoy that physical contact and they're talented at it already.
Well, that leads us to superstition and ritualistic stuff, right? Because then people can do a repetition, right? Like it's my ritual. Like Adam says he wears his lucky Texas socks during his games, right? His hockey games.
And socks, he left that out.
So, right. Yeah. And the jock strap, right? Yeah. But I think that, to me, that's going to be a ritual. He does it all the time. But to me, that's just fuel. Like, is that actually doing it? Is the ritual doing it and making him win? Or is it a reminder to fuel your soul?
It's putting him in the mood. It's putting him in the frequency. I think that lucky items put you in the frequency because honestly, everything has a frequency signature. Everything, space, time, events. Every magic has like a radio station with 25 decimals. There's frequency variations, and so you wear your lucky socks, Adam. You're in the frequency, right? You're in the frequency of performance. Probably it brings out the part of you that vibrates on that level.
Yeah,
that's what I believe. Those objects are.
I think it's always great that we can utilize and charge a physical object with our essence. See, that's the magic
Yeah.
to me, is
Yep.
that we
Yep.
can charge a physical object with our essence, and that's also serves as a psychological reminder too,
Right.
that we're actually intending for that to be generated energy, generated frequency. So I think, of course, it's us creating that, but I think it's good to utilize physical objects to kind of amplify in essence and enhance that frequency for sure.
So they do it too. Crystals are especially that way. It's like my lucky crystal. Well, maybe the crystal that actually, focuses all your scattered MTV childhood into something more pronounced. You know what I mean? Like we're just like, woo, like, because otherwise you're all this way. One thing about these steps, the 11 steps of Serious Story teaches, I mean, it's the premise of the whole damn system, is that if you want to manifest reality, you have to have every state of awareness doing the same thing with the same goal at the same time. You can't have your ego over here and your heart over here and your emotions over here. You've got to align all those states of awareness into one singular intention. And it's through that alignment that you become the crystal, that you become the vibration, and the universe is designed to respond to that frequency. It's so basic, it's not even funny how basic it really is.
Yeah,
right?
it's the fundamental structure we're supposed to know. We still
Right.
have forgotten that along the way of our incarnations, that we start focusing on getting the things instead of understanding we are the things, and the things that show up once we realize that. And so, and I've been talking a lot about that, Christopher, too, about, consumption. We got so wrapped up in consumption and consuming things and what do I need next, what do I need next? And when we're so focused on consumption and we get the thing, we get bored of it. We all get bored of it and we're ready for the next thing. And to me, that's evidence that we're not here for those things. We're here for the feelings of that. And I think when we're most centered on the feelings of generating that, less of consumption, more about expressing, again, the pattern of luck becomes more amplified because you're living in your truth. That's what your truth really is. I mean, we hear it all the time about your truth, your truth. That's what the truth really is when it comes to your truth, about what are you really trying to express, no matter what it is.
And experience. I would say express and experience. Oh.
I mean, they're synonymous. They're synonymous.
From what I understand, in the company of heaven, it's all in your mind. So close your eyes. That's heaven. That's it right there. That's heaven. You're locked in your fucking own awareness. That's it. So obviously we come down to experience taste, touch, sex, fun. Obviously we've come here to experience stuff that we can't experience like this, right? Which is how we are in heaven. And all people's pictures come to your third eye in heaven. You just, it's like being in a video game. It's like basically being in a reality video game in heaven. So we want to come down and we want to experience stuff because it's cool. It's like an attraction. And the primary creator said, ultimately from what I understand, God could not experience himself either. So the whole idea of reality is to separate himself and have another part of himself look back at himself because he couldn't look at himself in the mirror. That's it.
Oh, totally. And that's what I say. All that is that is our creator God is knowing itself through all of our experiences.
Yep.
So when we say all that is, that means all the bad shit too.
Totally.
God is observing and learning about itself, and it gets to expand through our own experiences of all that is. And so, I think that when we get so judgmental about what we're not consuming, what we have or don't have, that when we follow that lineage of what we're trying to express, God is with you, meaning that God wants to express your expression. God wants to expand on that creation for you and with you. So therefore, the luck will be very obvious in a sense, but you're saying to yourself, it isn't luck. It is actually my true expression, and I'm manifesting the things that represent that. And so, we hear a lot of the distortions of manifestation, luck, and all this other crap. And I think if we look at it more acutely that way, life just becomes more like that's why I'm here, or that's who I am, or why I've had these certain ticks or not, so. But I think that, people like superstition, like we said, Christopher, because there's a role of disconnection. This thing will make me feel better. This kind of thing will make me, feel happy once I do this. So it's still, to me, a reflection when they use luck and superstition. It's more a reflection of how disconnected one is with themselves and their actual creation.
I agree. Yeah. And I feel superstition to me is, again, like Adam's socks. It's like cross your hand 3 times, fart, all that. Those are little rituals that you do that in your mind convince you it's going to work. And it's not that it works; it's that you're now convinced, and now you're convinced reality will follow. You have to know. You can't be like, I hope it works, because that's not commandment over. The only way you take commandment over reality is you fucking command. You say it will be this way, and so it is. And reality goes, okay, that sounded godlike. Like it follows suit. If you're like, please, then no, that's you're saying you're under reality, but you're saying you're under what you're creating. How can you be under, if you're a painter and you paint a picture, how are you under it? Because that's what reality is. To understand something is put yourself under it. So you should
Right.
never say I understand to an authority.
Understand.
Putting yourself
Yeah.
under the authority. It's like, no, I understand.
Yep.
Like you have to shift that. But so the point is we're not under reality. And that's
Right.
what science will tell you, that we're under it. We're lucky to have it. Mother Nature is going to wipe you out. No, you're going to collectively, everyone in that region brings that storm in from the collective intention of wanting their ass kicked. And Mother Nature's like, okay, like you got it, and it's a collective commandment that pulls it in, which means there's no bad luck. It's all, to me, it's all intention. The problem is that people don't want to. Here's the thing: when people find out they're magical and that they're creating all of it, then there's the flip side of like, and you created all the shit too. That's right. You are your devil. You are the one that did it. It's all you. And people don't want that. They don't want responsibility. They want to say, no, I'm a victim. This happened to me. I was unlucky. And it's like, well, okay, deny your power some more. So really a lot of the big swallow is that you have to realize, yep, I created all the bad stuff too. That's what people don't want to do.
And that's the thing about what I was saying before about creating your own luck. That's how you create your own luck in a sense, right? Figuratively speaking, especially when we accomplish or resolve karma, right? Or we've learned that lesson we need to learn. It's almost like the creative energies are just so in flow at that moment because you no longer have restriction. You cleared out the karmic debt or the karmic unresolved. Now you can be a manifestation powerhouse, so to speak. You focus, you intend, boom, it happens. You know what I'm saying? And so I always tell people, if you want to be that powerful manifester, resolve the karma first, then you have a clean slate to navigate and dictate. But so many people are still wrapped up in their unresolved karma, they can't dictate anything. That's when they feel lucky.
They're putting so much subconscious time on it, right? Like, let's say people have an obsession, like they're obsessed with porn, okay? Now, people are obsessed with something like porn, okay, which is fine. But what happens is you're putting so much energy into that. You don't realize that your soul is suffering from the times that you were sexually abused in past lives.
Right.
And that's what's getting at you. And what's getting at you is you're wanting to see the scene of the accident over and over and over again. You're wanting to see the scene of the accident. Now, I tell people, if you're crazy attracted to someone at a party, like you just want to bang them like crazy, watch out. There is something deep inside you that is calling for that. It has nothing to do with attraction, man. It's that the universe will use everything it takes, sex, beauty, power. It'll use everything it takes to get you back into that karmic pain so that you can finally face it and get rid of the mofo. Right.
Oh, always. Always the impulsive connections are the ones that kind of the worst. Right. And so real dynamics actually really evolve. I'm not saying you can't love someone at first sight, but the relationship itself evolves. It's not all hot and heavy. That's always I would say trauma bond, karma bond,
past life soul lover. I mean, when I meet a past life wife, okay, the sexual attraction, everything's like, what? And before, I'd be like, it's my soulmate. And I just dive in. 6 weeks later, I think I'm in trouble. Because you burn through the whole past life, but you realize there's pent up, unresolved energy that wants to reconnect. And so that desire to reconnect is there, but usually it's there for the purpose of, I never said I was sorry.
Yeah.
I left that life and never said I was sorry. I never said to you that I didn't mean it. I never said to you that was just me being stupid. And so both souls are hung up on the fact that it ended so poorly, which is why, guys, you should always end something positive. I don't care how bad they are to you. Try to end positive because you are going to attract that person again.
Resolve it.
You are going to manifest it in another one night stand or whatever.
It's not anything positive. You got to really kind of resolve it. You got to understand the theme and message behind it, especially the patterns that people have. They keep the repetition of that pattern, and it's and then they just feel like, oh, it's something wrong, and all men are cheaters. It's like, no, you're cheating yourself out of life because you're not allowing yourself to get over the hurdle of what these represent to you. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, and that's again creating luck because you're saying to yourself, I'm going to expand from this. I'm going to take it as it's working, like you said before, for me and through me, not to me. And then you start attracting guys like flies on shit, white on rice, they just start coming around. And I have a lot of my clients too. They're like, I don't know, I can't meet anybody. And I said, psychically, I identify their block. It sounds like psychology, but I'm psychic to know what's holding you back. We got to resolve this, right? I had one client, I'll never forget this too. And I worked with her. She came out a couple months later. She worked on it. She goes, can you scan me, make sure, am I aligned for a relationship now? And I said, you did a lot of work. Wow, there's a lot of clear energy, free-flowing energy. I said, but you have this one little thing about still being responsible for mom you got to let go of, right? And she goes, yeah, I'm working on it, but you're right. I still feel guilty. I said, let go of it. And I said to her, if you do that, you can meet someone as early as tonight. I told her. A year later, she comes back. She told me that story, and she like let go of that responsibility. She went out, met someone that night, and was married that whole year with them. Just because they let it go. And she's like, I got so lucky. I'm like, no, you didn't get lucky. I'm not surprised. I told you because you cleared out the block, and it welcomed it in. You know what I mean? And so. I always love that story because literally I said, you clear this out. You meet someone as early as tonight. And she did. And just got married to that person. So,
and, she had attract, I agree with all of it, what you just said. I feel, most of the time when I meet a lot of women, frankly, who are bitter, mostly women because that's men don't seek me out for talent. For stuff. So this is a gender thing. This is a wise, unwise thing. Men are unwise, women are wiser. But but women, they'll be bitter. They're stuck. They're angry. Like men suck. All men are bad. All men are pigs. All this sort of stuff. And I'm like, but when's the man coming? Just tell me the astrology. When's he coming? I'm like, never, because you're stuck in the pain thing still, and you're going to attract more and more and more and more of the same thing until you can let it go. Because if a part of you is upset, that upset is really energy, and that energy is drawing in more and more and more. So if you're upset, you're not at ease, then you're going to continue the pattern, period. Right. There's no way around it. That's the way the universe was constructed. So, a lot of bad luck is that people won't let go of the past.
Well, and that's true. But a lot of people think everything's predictable. They think everything is
not in free will,
written in the stars, right? It's like there's a lot that is, but we forget. And I think I have to remind a lot of my clients is that you're creating your repetition and your future based on your repetition. So we can change a lot of that. So I like to say I'm a trajectory surgeon. I'm like, you got this prediction here. It's not favorable and it's not what you want. We got to change this prediction and turn it to what we want by resolving this. And they're like, oh, I never saw it that way, right? And so like you can read that, say it's never until you resolve this and then your prediction changes. So I think that's 100%. Why people rely on luck so much, because they think that their life is set in stone. It's like, it depends. If it's, you're making what's set in stone. You can change what you want to be set in stone and rewrite that if you want to and alter your course. People forget about that. That's why I think people rely on luck all the time, Christopher. That's why I think people rely on the manifestation, the faux manifestation stuff. It's because it's a little bit of glimmer of hope that they can change, but it's like, or there's something better for them. It's like, it's all here, baby. It's all within you. It's better for you.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, even myself who's very aware, I believe how it all works. What I'm not aware of is, the things I'm still upset about. I'm like a happy guy. I want to live happy. I want to be in serious joy. I don't really want to play those lower vibration records. I don't get off on it. I think it's boring as fuck. But that's why I have stuff still happen, because I haven't gone into the darkness and felt it out and felt out what it was. And so what I do is I manifest it into life. Like, shit. I will manifest that goblin right there. You know what I mean? And my manifestation talent is really good. I'm really good. My talent is coming back into integrity. I'm sort of like a piece of tinfoil. You bend me up, I'll go back into integrity again. So my luck is how many times have you had pneumonia and gotten back up? What? You must be lucky. No, I'm really talented at coming back into integrity with a snap. It's Jupiter 11 degrees in Aquarius. I just know I know that vibration so well. I can just come right back into it on cue. So right. I have had a lot of luck where I bounce back from disease. I bounce back from depression. I bounce back from alcoholism. I bounce back from all kinds of things. That's my thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm good at that. But, manifesting love in my life, not so good. There's things I'm still looking to get better at. And there's things I still have refused to look at because I was scared, or I didn't want to, or was just felt icky. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, let's just clean all this up and move on. That maybe it's a maturity thing. I don't know. But at the end of the day, what is fate then? So what is fate? We talk about fate, we talk about luck. So what's fate in your opinion?
Fate is everything we just said. It's the same thing. It's all synonymous with each other. Fate is, we create fate too. But what I think people misunderstand is that we create a lot of our destiny prior to incarnating. And then it's almost like we understand the parameters of the board, like chess. We understand the rules of the game, but we get to select how we move the chess pieces. So that's why we're in physical reality. We kind of create the parameters of the game board, but we come in and use our free will to make decisions, to win the game and to master the game. And so I think we need to understand the theme, like our divine purpose. I'm sure you get a lot of questions to your clients, like, what's my purpose? Like, that's a main question I get from a lot of people. And that is the core where you begin to understand what fate really is. And fate is also, to me, not only what we've predetermined, but it's also a result of something positive happening, or a direction that you're in that's generating your positive karma. I believe it's fate how I met my partner, because I just randomly decided to go out. Randomly, I didn't feel like going, and met out with a friend, and the friend happened to talk to my partner. My partner was visiting out of town. He's sitting there by himself, and my friend is entertaining him, waiting on me. And I show up, and I immediately connected and said, "Hey, you want another drink?" Got him a drink, and we were connected from there. It was like the timing. He wasn't even going to go out. He lived 2 hours away, and decided to drive 2 hours. Right? To me, that's fate of meeting somebody, because you're both on a path, and you're following your impulses of what you're supposed to be, and fate will connect, like attracts like, in the law of attraction sense.
Yes,
in
the
that
path
way,
of least
exists.
in the path of least resistance, right? Like, so
Right.
I have found out, like, for instance, people who are fated. So I was fated to meet you. We've hung out many times in past lives, broken bread, all sorts of crazy stuff while the time.
Tell people how we met real quick. We met because one of my clients from 14 years ago had a session with me, kind of always connected back and forth. She saw me starting to get on social media and connected me with you and Namaste today, like just randomly.
And happened to be volunteering at Serious Joy and working for us on a very time. She's not even with Serious Joy anymore, so she feels like her fate is complete. She did what she's supposed to do. She bridged a lot of people to us. She's an amazing soul. But the point is like, we would have met regardless, because in heaven, I think fate is free will in heaven. So in the company of heaven, you have free will. What do you want to do? I want to hook up with Scott. I want to hook up with this person. I want to party with that person. I want more round with this. I want more round with this. Okay, drink the water. Woo! You're in. Yeah. Then you're like, I feel like going to 7-Eleven. Like, why? Why do you feel like that? Well, the universe is telling you, like, well, Scott's there right now. So I found that, like, a lot of people I was fated to be with. I found out, like, a lot of people I was fated to be with. I had been close to meeting them many times. We would like review our past, like, oh my God, I was at that school. Oh my God, I went to that concert. Like, there's a lot of things where I was like, oh God, fate was actually, there were many times I could have met this person, but the one that was like the fastest to free will was like through this person. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying, I was just like highlighting. I love that you said like fate is like, had free will in heaven. Totally. That's the predetermined stuff we selected. When we incarnate in the physical, like I said before, is like, we don't know we forget what our fate is, because it's just kind of playing things out. It's like when you really want to feel lucky, you understand what the fate is predetermined, your divine purpose. You make the decisions that support it. Bam, life is like magical. Magic. Totally.
Plus, it ruins a surprise. Look, this is like a movie. If you're about to go into a movie, do you want to know, okay, in this act, Bruce Willis dies, and then Demi Moore comes in, and it turns out she's his sister. It's like, fuck, why am I going to the movie? So we deliberately erase all the memory before we come down, so it's fun, and it's exciting. Because otherwise, you'd be like, Scott's going to appear in the scene any moment now. There he is. Like that, where's the fun there? You know what I mean? Like, so we want surprise. That's the whole point. Exactly. And the Palladians talk about this too through Wendy. It's like, the whole point of being on Earth is like that it's a surprise. So like, we know everything all the time. It's not as fun. It's not as, the excitement and the highs you feel on Earth are unique. That's why we're so interested in your species, because it's so unique to do it with a blindfold.
Right.
It brings opportunity and experience that we don't have, because we know everything when we're born. We know everything when we die. It's like, interesting. No wonder you guys are so vanilla. Like, they don't even smile when they land. Like, that's what I'm saying. Okay, I'll take you to Earth anytime for the highs.
Yeah, it's true.
It's good. Well,
and we enjoy the anticipation too. We enjoy anticipation of things, of wonderment. We love, that's why we're physical. We love to explore. And you're exploring, Christopher, too, right now, through your vast nature of your own abilities and where you position yourself in relationships. So you're still exploring. And that's why those who came to really explore are great manifestors, because they need to explore that. They need to see, like, I thought something, it popped up. And understand what your talents are. So you're in exploration phase. And a lot of people are in exploration phase. We came here to explore too. So it's fun. I'd say that the wonderment of it all,
I would say I'm just out of explore and now into create. Like, and that's like as of last night, just for the record. Like, I was exploring, and now I think I've got all my data. And now sit back. I'm going to put on a show, because with everything I've learned, and that's what I want to do this life, is put on a really hell of a show and on everyone. So, in heaven, we can talk about how cool that was. But speaking of shows, Scott, we're running out of time. What is fated on your show tonight?
It's actually, can you show the promo? Because the title's interesting. Spiritual woo-woo bad juju. So I'm actually going to get into a lot of the phony spiritual stuff. It's kind of in alignment to today's episode, but kind of get into like how you can actually create bad mojo by finding, tapping to some of the spiritual woo-woo stuff and finding ways to kind of ground things in the spiritual community so you can actually have a better experience with better juju. So you can catch me live. You can catch me live tonight. My channel, Scott Cruz PM at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And if you want something more private, just head over to scottcruzpm.com and you can book a one-on-one session with me. Both life readings, past life regressions, health mediumship, relationships, career, life purpose, mediumship sessions, and intuition builder, all that more, scottcruzpm.com.
Hard hitting. And get him while he's hot, baby, because he's not going to be affordable soon. He's just going such high places. Well, folks.
I've been in high places. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was last night. No, anyways, it's time to wrap up the show. We have a good time. Thanks, everyone. Go ahead. Yeah, of course.
I just want to say something really quick because I've been thinking about this. So what are the odds that I am showing barely any cleavage and you, Christopher, have massive cleavage showing? He froze.
Yeah.
He froze.
Oh, actually, we lost. That was my higher self going, exit. No. My higher self was like, pull that chain. Like, oh, they can't pull back up to heaven.
But yeah, the change, because usually I come down with my shirt. She's always been out in here. Now I'm kind of like buttoned up, and you have a lot of cleavage showing. So there's a little bit of
cleavage. I'm going back in the gym. My cleavage isn't big enough right now, but it's going. This chapter it does. Well, thank you. That was a very, very wise moment there in the show.
Right? Isn't that amazing? Observation, guys. Come on, that's the highlight of the night.
Observation is the truth. Well, all right. So I think we're out of time. Yeah, we are. So thank you, everyone. We are having a great time. Again, thanks for everyone who answered. Looks like everyone is mostly agreeing that Thursday nights will be great. By the way, that means Scott's show will be moved to a place too, probably on Fridays, but we don't want to release exactly our times in our thinking right now because we're doing a lot of shuffling in preparation for a new network we're launching, Serious Joy TV. So that said, remember, folks, don't put up with a shift show. Lead out loud.
Bye, beautiful souls.
Oh my God, you're talking about my cleavage. You know, I'm wearing panties today too.
Are you really?
No.
I'm actually wearing pants this time. Usually I don't wear pants, but I need something to strap on the suspenders to.
People were talking about your suspenders in the chat. They were telling me, they were saying that you look kind of, what was the word? I don't even know. Oh, it was your Virgo rising coming out.
Oh,
like
that's interesting.
Yeah, like a little Irishman ready for a little dance.
Is that a Virgo thing? I don't know. I thought it was more aqua now.
I think Virgos want their pants held up. I think they keep their pants up. Yeah.
That's